Washington. It is about 7:22 p.m. and sunset today is at 8 p.m. on the dot. So we've got 43 minutes until sunset roughly. So actually 38 minutes. Where's my math? Anyhow, we've got a beautiful evening. It is 72 degrees right now. And my picture's frozen on my end, so hopefully it's not on yours. Let me flip it around. My signal went from good to fair to poor. Now it's back to good. Hey, Kit Kat. Nice to see you, Kid Harvey. Train just went by. We just missed it, but I can show you some skydivers. And we can take a look at the mountain. There's lots to see, and I'm holding out for hot air balloons too. So plane coming in, Mount Baker just over here. And let's tilt up and find those skydivers. There we go. I see 4 of them right now. Those are typically tandem skydivers. Yeah, I hear you, Kit. Yeah, a plane passing right overhead. Let's see if I can capture it on the zoom. Hey there, Tom. This will be nice with the mountain here. Let's zoom this out a little bit. We'll go back in. Hey there, Pete. Thanks for dropping in, Pete. Always nice to see you here. So Mount Baker on the right, and the plane going right on its due course to the runway, and the skydivers earthbound. Actually, now I see 5 skydivers. 5 parachutes anyway. Pete's got that wonderful weather down there in Florida, and today our temperature is mild by comparison, but it's one of us, probably our warmest day yet this year. 72 degrees at 7 p.m. We'll take it. There you go, Pete. And just over in that same direction, right ahead of us there, in the distance is where I keep an eye out for the parachute, the envelopes of the 2 hot air balloons. 75 in Florida. So we're only 3 degrees behind you, but you're 3 hours ahead. Yeah, so I keep an eye out for the envelopes of the hot air balloons. They're usually 2, right, with those in the same general areas where those parachutes are coming down. Drove right by him on Highway 9 last night as the hot air balloon was lifting off. And once that weather here, it doesn't take much encouragement to get the buds to start popping on the trees. I'll give you an example of what I mean here while we still have some light on it. Oh, I'm hearing a bald eagle, you guys. Did you hear that eagle? There's a bald eagle just over here somewhere. Yeah, I wanted to show you the beautiful, here's our eagle. Is that it? Hey, this would be too good to be true, huh? There we go. How's that, you guys? All right. So we got, I believe we have that's the bald eagle I was hearing. It was off to our left. I've got my DSLR on the same. Yeah, he would. I think he'd be enjoying this. Look at this. We got a bald eagle. We sure do. I'm pretty sure that's what we're talking about there. I will, Debs. Nice to see you here, Debs. I've got my DSLR on this same tripod, so I'm going to zoom out for just a moment. Oh, did it just take off? Oh, just like that. Where'd it go? Oh, no, it's still up there. Okay, I just lost it. Oh, right as I leaned into my lens. Boy, right into the sun. I can't take that. Woo! Well, that was a nice moment, you guys. Yeah. Let me just finish off showing the greenery. I think you kind of got the idea on that tree, but how cool was that, you guys? It's those unscripted moments, isn't it? Quit losing my eagles. No doubt, Dave. Dave, I don't know how many minutes ago you jumped on, but I was just turning the camera to aim at the buds here on this tree, and I heard off to my left an eagle, and I looked, I couldn't see it. By that point, I'm guessing it was actually flying in behind me, circling around, and it came off to my right, and it landed on this same tree that I'm pointed at, a little higher on the limb. So that was absolutely wonderful. There you go, Pete. I imagine you see some really cool wildlife in Florida, Pete, not just the wonderful sunsets and sunrises. And gosh, you get those great clouds there too. Okay, I'm really hoping we'll see the hot air balloons come this way tonight. It was from Philadelphia, but I'm bummed, Dave. All right. Sun creeping closer to sunset. Mount Baker. Let's see if the mountains catch much color tonight. Got some other snowy peaks nearby. Some bushes partially obstruct the view right now, but I'll take it because soon they'll be in bloom too. Thorny as they might be. Thank you, Pete. Haven't broadcast on HAPS for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. Kind of missed it, but I've been watching. I've been watching new broadcasters and some of the familiar faces as well. And it's good to see more people jumping on, and I'm hoping to see a whole bunch more. And it'd be great if this app, which we're using simultaneously to stream to YouTube and Facebook right now, it would be great when viewing, we could see even more of the live broadcasts as they're happening. They seem to be growing it to a list of 12 to 20 live at once. But I miss that Periscope ability to see so many around the world. So many new broadcasters on HAPS, yeah. It's like, feels like a 21st century, I wouldn't say gold rush. What was it when the pioneers took off, when the flag dropped, what have you, and they went and claimed their land? All right, let's bring it back to Mount Baker. 19th century. Yeah, they are. They're really talkative right now. I'm glad you're picking that up. I'm wearing my wireless lav microphone. Not sure if that's what you're hearing. With Haps, it seems I've been hit and miss, whereas I want to say with Periscope, it was pretty consistent, that pretty stable system when I used a microphone with my phone. Great audio. Okay, well, we can test it. I did this the other day. I'll do it again, you guys. I'll walk down there and you'll be able to tell me whether you can hear me. It keeps the traffic sound down. So I'll walk down here. And if this microphone is properly working with Haps, you'll still be able to hear me. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's either working or it's not. You'll be able to tell me. Wow, fantastic, working, excellent, excellent. Thank you. Several years ago in the early days of Periscope, I was wearing this mic and I was up above the bleachers at Glacier Peak High School looking down on the football field, left the camera on the tripod, the phone and the camera during a broadcast, and I walked down to the football field, the 50-yard line, to the other side of the field and clear on the other side of the track, and everybody said they could hear me great the entire time. Yeah, it's wireless. Yeah. So I was probably, I was probably 100 yards, give or take, away, 80 to 120 yards. And I've done it at Mukilteo on the beach many times where I've stood far away from the camera and continued speaking on Periscope and people could hear me. And one time I did a broadcast up at the border with Canada with Sassy Photo, and I had two of these mics going into my phone on Periscope, and we both sat down together to talk on camera, and we had a discussion on camera, both individually wearing wireless lavalier microphones with the peace arch at the border behind us. Yeah, it does block wind. It depends on what you get. Here, I'll show you, Pete. Okay, so this is what I'm wearing right now. This goes over the capsule. Okay, I've got a small foam one which you would typically wear in a studio. This is the actual microphone. Yeah. Now the term for this, I'm watching a bird over here. The term for this furry thing that goes over the mic, you'll either hear dead kitten or dead cat. I know it's not the most attractive name, but that's what it's called. And I'm looking forward to HAPS is apparently going to allow for RTMP. And if all goes well, that will mean that I can use Switcher Studio Pro. I'm really curious to see how this will work. Switcher Studio Pro is a paid subscription app that you can have on an iPhone or an iPad. And what it allows you to do, it's just tremendous. I consider it to be everything the HAPS Broadcast Studio is on a PC or a laptop and more, but all on your phone. So it will allow me to put on graphics. It'll allow me to play back video that's been edited, talk over it with voiceover, or just kill my microphone, mute it, and play something I prepared. But here's the real cool thing, and thus the name Switcher. It allows me to switch cameras between multiple iOS devices. Isn't that neat? Thanks, Tom. So it allows, and you guys who have followed me over the years, you've seen me do some Periscope broadcasts in the past where I'll switch between a camera that's, in fact, I've done it right here, where I put my iPad up here on the car, shooting down on me and wirelessly switching to that camera. And I've been at the beach and I've had as many as 3 different cameras. I can do 4 or 5. And I can even bring in a laptop or a desktop screen as well. So, and I can tell it that I want this microphone though on this camera the entire time. So when I switch to those different cameras, you're still getting the audio of me speaking. so that you maintain the audio quality. So when HAPS gets RTMP, hopefully I can bring Switcher Studio Pro in to HAPS and be able to switch cameras when I'm out and about. When I was using Switcher Studio Pro with Periscope and YouTube, I would play 1080p video of a package, of a story that I prepared with music and narration. So I would be in a live broadcast and I'd be at the beach and I'd say, let's take a look at this, something I put together a little bit earlier. And I would just tap a button on my phone. It would play that video in 1080p and it would play it effortlessly. Hello from Denver. Chris, pleasure to have you here. Thank you. This is Snohomish, Washington, about 30 miles north of Seattle, just outside of Everett, if you're familiar with the area. But enough of looking at me. Let's go back out here. I was really hoping to see hot air balloons. Usually they're out on a night like this time of year, but I'm not sure we're going to. They like to do it at sunset because it's just a beautiful balloon ride. Let's switch the camera around. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the subscription. And there is Mount Baker. Mount Baker is in northern Washington, not far from the Canadian border. In fact, if you're in southern British Columbia, Canada, you get a really good view of the other side of that mountain. It's east of Bellingham, Washington. And along with Mount Rainier, just two of the really, really familiar landmarks in this state. I think we'll see probably one more round of tandem skydivers tonight. Skydiving at sunset. Sunset will be at 8 p.m. sharp. I've got my watch on a face that doesn't give me digital time right now, so I'm looking at about 7:39. So we're about 21 minutes away from sunset, but it'll go down behind a ridge here to our left prior to 8 p.m. So we'll take advantage of this golden glow and light while we have it. I have not ever skydived, and I don't think I ever will. Excuse me, I accidentally muted my microphone there. A friend of mine, I worked co-worker in Arizona years ago, was in the Army, I want to say late 60s, early 70s. And he told me that when he was, I think, at Fort Huachuca, anyway, he told me that he had this moment of decision early in his military career about what he wanted to do. And an old timer told him, or an older person in the military said, only two things fall out of the sky, fools and bird poop. Which one are you? What do you want to do? And I have a very strong opinion, no doubt. Yeah, I like the glow there. I agree, Pete. Thank you. And so my friend looked at this old timer and said, well, he's lived to be this long in the military. I guess I'll follow his lead and stay out of airplanes. So I'm kind of the same way. Now, I have a nephew who seems like he was born only yesterday. Now I'm sounding like the old timer. He's a young man now, and he's jumping out of airplanes. He did it, I think, a year ago here in Snohomish. Earlier in this broadcast, we showed you some tandem skydivers jumping. Same outfit out of local airfield here called Harvey Field. Off towards the sunset there in the nearby woods, I can hear the frogs are starting to croak. Everything's on its cue. I love the brakes and the traffic. I'm along a country road, which is just across a field from fairly busy state route, Highway 9. So it's nice to be away from that traffic and over on this side. Totally different feel. And I feel a lot safer parking over here than I do over there. I wouldn't park over there. With rare exception, I have, but it's rare. And I'm totally safe parking in this lone space on this hilltop, just off the country road. But down below the valley, where for forever you could park, the farmers cracked down on it last year, and they don't want anybody doing it anymore because of during last school year, the kids, when school was shut down because of coronavirus last year, the kids started, high school kids started hanging out here, and they're apparently creating some issues. Doreen, I'm back on Springhetty Road. Yes. You've got me pegged, Doreen. You know my habits. I'm a creature of habit. But the cool thing is the farmer's wife told me I could still park if I wanted to, just park at their driveway and I'm cool. But I haven't taken them up on that yet. They're kind of used to me over the years. I keep telling myself I want to send them some pictures. There have been some wonderfully beautiful moments that they've seen, no doubt, more than I, but I've had some good luck capturing images of some great moments here. Not only with snow geese and trumpeter swans, but last year, comet and eelwise. All right, let's take a look at the mountains, see how they're looking. Color temperature outdoors, the sun goes down, changes pretty quickly. So you kind of get a different look from one moment to the next on things like mountains. Before we zoom in on Baker, we'll go over here. A little colder up there. Doreen, earlier in this broadcast, I heard a bald eagle. Didn't spot it right away. It was off to my left. I must have been flying behind me because it was the sound came from off to the left, and a moment later, off to the right and into view, flew a bald eagle, and it landed on that tree we were showing with the sun just a moment ago. So that was really cool. And just as I finally said, okay, I'm going to zoom out so I can keep this eagle in the shot for you all, but I'm going to zoom in with my DSLR. It's all on the same tripod. And just as I leaned in to take the picture, the eagle took off. So I didn't get it while it was still perched, but I got it right afterwards. I don't know how good the picture is, and it was going right towards the sun, so it may be over. I should just take a look on I'll look on my back of my camera right now. Let's see. Yeah, once it gets towards the sun, yeah, I got it. Nothing great, but I definitely got it, just as it left the limb. In fact, I'll show you. Let's zoom this out. Hang on. Don't know how I got on that. That's just as it left the limb. And then, it flies away. So it goes right to left towards the sun. And I totally got blinded out by the sun. But here's more of the gear that I use. And I use an audio adapter, and I can bring two mics in. I'm hearing a high plane nearby, and I have a feeling that's the plane with the skydivers. So we'll keep an eye out. Sun's just going down, so let's capture that. I'll get a shot of it first with the DSLR. Okay. And that plane sounds so high, it's the familiar hum of the skydiving plane. A lot of small plane traffic in this area, especially when the weather's nice. But I think we're just a few minutes away from seeing skydivers, like within sight of 3 or 4. So we'll watch that sun go down, and then I'll keep an eye out for the skydivers. And I want to just, for awareness, I want to share with that. I did last time I did a live stream out remotely with my phone using HAPS. Yeah, there are definitely skydivers because I'm hearing the stall of the engine in the plane. It's kind of like a stall, so I know they're up there really high somewhere. Um, and I got home and I watched a bit of the replay, and I could see that people were giving me high fives and such, where you get those 15, 30 cent, somewhat even $1 contribution. And I wasn't picking up on that during the live broadcast. So I apologize for that. And the way I'm reading the app right now, just for awareness, it says $0.00. So if for some reason I'm not seeing what's actually happening and someone has made a contribution, I just want to say thank you very much. I try to keep an eye out for that. I certainly don't expect it. But if it happens, yeah, thank you. That's very considerate. So there goes the sun. And I'm looking off to the right and up really high because I am going to see skydivers any minute. And now I found them. Okay. So chutes are opening. Let's show you where they're at. I have to find them, don't I? It's one thing to see them with the naked eye. It's another thing to see them in this phone. Okay, I'm seeing 2 of them. Let's measure up. Okay, if I go from that rooftop of that white roof, they're going to be to the left. It's hard for me to find them in the phone. I mean, they are out there a piece, but okay. Okay. Okay, there are 2 of them right there. Do you see them? Thanks, Tom. Those were birds. There are more skydivers out. Hang on. Look how close those two just went. We can grab a focus. Two of them just went very nearby each other. So I'm seeing four more, three there on the left, one more over there to the right. Now I see them, Tom says. Thanks, Tom. So I'm seeing actually a total of five. One off to the right there, and then four more. Basically, you have your center three, one over here on the left, and one more over here. Not bad. Boy, there's some really nice color coming out right now over Mount Baker in the lower atmosphere. Things are, the color is a, here, let's zoom out. See this lower band of pink? That's what is really pronounced to the naked eye. There you go in a soft light. All right. And the plane from which these skydivers jumped from is about to come into view from the left side of your screen. There's your, there is your sunset play-by-play skydiving. How's that? All right. And when I say sunset, yes, it has set. Although we're about 4.5 minutes from official sunset time, it's gone below the ridge to our west. You saw what Mount Baker looked like a moment ago, and let's get a probably the sole place that I can see right now in my area for a glint of sunshine if I'm quick enough on the zoom. Just on top of that mountain. Tell you what, great to be out here in April, in spring, on the warmest day I believe so far here this year, and hear that. Hear the birds, the chirping. And during the cold season, we don't have skydiving and balloon rides. We didn't see balloon rides tonight, but they've been going on again lately. There's a season that closes. So that's just all recently wound up and resumed again. So that's really cool as well. So it's nice to be out here, no jacket, These are life's simple pleasures, right? So that's all pretty cool. Oh, we have another person. It's Rita from Florida. I've always hoped that I pronounce your name correctly, Rita, because it's either Rita Moore or Retta Moore, I'm guessing. So we had a really nice time tonight. At least I did. Pretty cool thrill when we had heard the bald eagle, then it landed in the tree just beyond us. That was really cool. Saw 2 rounds of skydiving. I think they're done for the night. Reda. Reda. All right, Reda. Thank you, Reda. Appreciate that. So do you guys have any questions? I can sign off here in a minute, but if you have any questions about the area or anything else, feel free to shoot. I'm game. I'm reluctant to relinquish my post here because I never know what I'm going to see up until the final moments of light here. Not far from now, it's pretty common to hear the coyotes start yipping from over here on the left in the woods, where the frogs were chiming in, winding up about 20 minutes ago. Weekend plans. Okay, Tom, that's a great question. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to take I just bought a used car from Kirkland Honda. I got a used Accord, a 2015 with really low miles. And it's part of the deal. My wife, sitting by my side, nicely negotiated a couple of new tires for the back. So I'm going to Kirkland in the morning to have new tires put on. I also decided to keep, my wife and I, we decided to keep our 2002 Chevy Tahoe, which is right next to me here. It needs a new engine. And we were going back and forth whether to unload this or sell it or trade it. We decided to keep it. And so we're having someone put in a used engine rather than a new one, but it's got 63,000 miles on it. So this one has 220,000 miles on it. We bought this used back in 2013 and we put 100,000 miles on it ourselves. So that's a big part of what's going on this weekend. I imagine I'll be making some runs to the local landfill to get some things out of the garage. And yeah, and then I'll probably get out with the camera. I took one of my sons out skateboarding right after work today. So I wish I could tell you I was going to go up into the mountains and go on some glorious hike, but that's not happening. I'm looking just off camera because there's a small bird here. And that's where I wanted these small birds to be when there was still sunlight out. Are you going to be going hiking on Whidbey Island, Tom, with Bella, your dog? I have to say Bella, your dog, for the benefit of others. Oh, I'm seeing, oh, that must be an aircraft. We've got to do some little day trips in the Puget Sound area here now that the weather's getting nicer. And I'm sure I'll be doing, there's a lone, somebody just came down. One more skydiver. You hope to, it's been so beautiful. Yeah, this is awesome weather. If this holds up, I mean, we've had day after day of sunshine for the most part, haven't we? But this has been the warmest. This is going to trigger the whole of Western Washington. And then we're going to start seeing all these shots of more like last year, crowded beaches in the middle of a pandemic. Today you went to Deception Pass State Park. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that place. I got a lot of good memories there. I haven't been there often enough, but going back to the 80s, you know, I've been there a few times. And that's an absolutely stunning, beautiful place. And of course, you know, that gets you in the general area of Washington Park too, which is an absolute favorite. This little phenomena is happening. It happens at twilight every year. You start seeing these groups of crows, and they come from the north. Do you hear them? Tom says he saw lots of campers, I bet. And there will be lots of campers out, yeah. But these crows, they head south, and I'm of the, can't say I'm convinced, But let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these crows end up in Bothell, where there's tremendous numbers of them come together for the evenings at the University of Washington Bothell campus. My son, I was going to say still is a student there. What bird do we have here? Hang on. Okay, I think a small hawk, and I just missed because I wasn't quick enough on the camera. Just glided into our tree here. Yeah, but a lot of crows. Portland, Oregon's had that issue too. The Kenmore crows, okay. Maybe they're headed to Kenmore. I'll buy that. Oh, there goes that bird. Makes me think when I see them fly off the raptors, the hawks in that direction, because there's a bluff. And that bluff is where Seattle Hill Road, it's nowhere near Seattle, it's up here 30 miles to the north of Seattle, but Seattle Hill Road and some other neighborhoods now are built more than ever up along that bluff. And over the eons, that's where a lot of hawks have perched in the morning, and I imagine in the evening, but I've seen them, so many of them in the morning at sunrise. And they with their hawk vision, their raptor vision, they find their prey down below here in the valley. It's really cool to watch. But a lot of that, unfortunately, a lot of that habitat is gone. All right, my camera is going to give me a bit of a problem, but I want to show you something. Well, they're playing at home against Houston, a depleted Houston roster. I'd have to go handheld to get that moon right now. But suffice it to say, there's that white sliver in the sky, and it is the moon. Mount Baker at sunset, or at evening twilight, beyond sunset. All right, my friends, thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure to have you along for the ride. If you're new to these broadcasts, please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you along for future moments such as this one and some occasional breaking news. And for those of you who've been following over the years on Periscope and have now found me and managed to reconnect here on HAPS, I really appreciate it. I enjoy checking out your broadcasts too. In fact, some of you, like Tom, have probably already gone live more on HAPS than you might have gone on Periscope. You're primarily a viewer and not a broadcaster, but it's really cool to see some folks now feeling even more comfortable stepping into the broadcast space. So I get to learn about your corner of the world as well. It's awesome, a lot of fun, and a lot of positivity, and a lot of learning. I really appreciate that. I want you to know that. Have a great evening. You're welcome, Tracy. You're welcome, Doreen. Take care, Tom. Peace.